last episode of Dragon Ball Z, it seemed like a time for celebration. Wrong!
Flashback.
Zunisha is 7 times smaller than what it once was and has gone down from 35 kilometers to 5 kilometers in height, which is 3 miles tall. And its length has shrunken 10 times from 20 to 2 kilometers, which is 1.2 miles.
Look how they massacred my boy.
End of flashback.
Lord Frieza!
What? What's he blabbering on about?
My lord, recall that powerful world full of these insanely gigantic creatures and landmasses that are beyond one's imagination.
Ah, yes, I do recall this world full of these preposterously insane creatures. The world that's run by those monkeys and that monkey family. Ugh.
Well, my lord, it appears that there have been some adjustments to this world's scaling by the gods on high. Lord Whis and Beerus have made some adjustments.
Oh, do tell. Finally, this world needed some downscaling. Absolutely preposterous metrics.
They increased the metrics, my lord.
What the f?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, they have made some readjustments. It looks like the One Piece staff have listened to some comments, maybe concerns, or they ran some numbers themselves and said, you know what, hold on, time out. This doesn't make any sense. It really, really does not. So we did a video on this channel a few months ago, boom, over here, where we talked about them nerfing the hell out of Zunisha. And you saw that clip at the beginning of this video. Zunisha literally got a 7x nerf to its height, went from 35 kilometers tall to 5. And then Zunisha got a 10x nerf to its width. So it went from 20 kilometers to 2. So these were some like pretty brutal nerfs, I thought, because essentially Zunisha went from like the size of Manhattan, the entire island of Manhattan by itself, to effectively the size of one of the mountains on Drum Island, one of those drum peaks. Monstrous nerf, because Zunisha, as a creature in the new world that had its legs somewhere on the bottom of the sea floor, it didn't really make much sense that Zunisha was only this big, considering how now it was just the same size as one of the regular Sea Kings that we see around Fishman Island. Now, the Sea Kings are, to be fair, they are at most 5 kilometers / 3 miles long. And as far as I can tell, the biggest Sea King is that one Zebra Sea King. That guy is a behemoth of epic proportions. But let's say that frog one that helped carry the Noah Ark during Fishman Island, that frog one wouldn't be that full 5 kilometers / 3 miles long. But again, for Zunisha, that literally has a city on its back, it didn't make much sense for Zunisha to be just as big as a Sea King, because then that would mean that effectively the Noah Ark is bigger than the entirety of the country of Zou. And it's like, wait, hold on. Does that make any sense? Is the Noah Ark really bigger than the entire country of Zou? Huh? What? And to be fair, this is still an issue. This is still an issue. So honest to God, even though they made some recent tweaks, I'm betting in the future more tweaks are to come. But I do appreciate the fact, at least they're trying to adjust to where it makes sense. That I do appreciate. Yes, I do. If you get a problem wrong, you don't just sulk, oh my God. No, you learn, you adjust, you adapt, and it seems like the Vivricard staff, One Piece team, what we define it as, they are trying to do that for the scaling of Zunisha, thereby many things in the world of One Piece that are relative to Zunisha. And here's how they're doing it. So a few weeks ago, Arter of the Library of Ohara, shouts to him, posted this on Twitter. Vivricard, Zunisha's height has been corrected for the 3rd time. Dead Tombstone. Yes, they have corrected it for the 3rd time. And I was concerned, like, bro, not another nerf. Please, no. A buff, a slight buff from the nerf that they did weeks prior. So I know Lord Frieza doesn't like this, but as a One Piece fan that likes to scale, oh, I do like this. right here. So previously, after the first correction, nerf, it is what it is. It was 5,000 meters tall, which is 5 kilometers, which is 3 miles tall. And then the previous correction to the width is 2,000 meters wide, which is around 6,500 feet wide. And this width still applies. So they haven't changed the width of Zunisha, but they did double Zunisha's height. And now Zunisha has gone from 3 miles tall to like 6.2 miles tall, which is now a 10,000 meter length or 10 kilometers in height. So effectively from the bottom of Zunisha's nasty ass soggy feet to the top of its skull and its hump, Zunisha is the same distance to the white sea in Skypiea. However, Artist pointed in his tweet as well, hold on, this length right now for his height doesn't make much sense because its width is still the same 2 kilometers wide. So Zunisha looks squished, and it does. Zunisha is squished. Zunisha on a diet. Zunisha really compressed down. If you're gonna double Zunisha's height, then you have to double Zunisha's width in the process too. So in the future, if you're watching, there has to be a reasonable buff to its width as well, where if its height is doubled, then Zunisha should be 4,000 meters wide or 4 kilometers, which is around 2.5 miles wide. So Zunisha's width should be comparable to one of the sea kings that we see in Fishman Island. And that makes a lot more sense compared to keeping it at 2. That doesn't make much sense at all. So they're trying to adjust, they're trying to get it right. Fair enough, we can't have our 35 kilometer Giga Chad, straight up Muir, with rippling abs and a V. Nah, we can't have that. No, fair enough. Okay, fine. I understand that. But bro, Zunisha has to be wider. If you're gonna double its height, then you should double its length. And this, I think is a good thing. When I view, let's say, for example, Elbaf right now, Elbaf looks phenomenal. It looks outstanding. But I've said time and time again that Oda is going to mess up the scaling with Elbaf. And you already saw it like immediately with kind of Goldberg carrying the Sunny Go ship, where Goldberg is carrying a ship that on paper should be on the same size as a Marine, at least from keel to mast. Its height should be comparable to a Marine battleship, and it looks way too small in Goldberg's hands. But in the latest chapter, 1132, they did readjust that height to where it looks bigger. And that, I think, is the part of Oda and staff to try and make the world really make sense, particularly when the characters themselves have stated things time and time again. Like, for example, Elbaf looks so damn big, the sense of scale is so huge that's kind of nauseating. Like, Nami said that, like, bro, Elbaf is way too big. So then you have to always like maintain that idea of a sense of scale for Elbaf, where it has to look always titanic in size, and it can't look meek in really much situations. Will that always be consistent? No, but at least they're trying to make amends where they feel like they're necessary. And Zunisha's amends, I think, are good. Because again, it does give us a greater sense of the scale of the world of One Piece, particularly the New World. So, for example, when Zunisha is near Wano Country and it's enjoying that fire beat of the drums of liberation. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, when Zunisha is jamming out to the drums of liberation and we see Zunisha near those gigantic peaks that are around Wano Country and its top half is relative to those peaks, that means that those peaks that we see around Wano Country, previously, they were half the size of the Drum Island peaks, the big Drum Island mountains, but now they should be around the same size as those Drum Island peaks because half of Zunisha's body is now equivalent to one of those big Drum Island mountains. And so it makes it now all the more impressive when the Sunny Go falls that distance without any real damage after Luffy and Kid and Law do their stunt, and it shows you the power and the durability of the Jewel Tree Atom Wood, because essentially it is falling from a distance that is even taller than the Drum Island peaks, and it's relatively a-okay. So like, do you see how things like that kind of correlate in your mind as to, okay, we get a better sense of the world itself through something like Zunisha, because then you could correlate other things to it, and it gives you a clear understanding of the craziness and the magnitude of the new world. So this thing, I think, is for the best. Again, we can't have our, crazy 35 giga, bro, I want my 35-kilometer Giga Chad. I do. I really, really do. But if we got to settle, 10 I think is fine. But they got to change its width. They absolutely do. In terms of, let's say, colossal creatures, right now, Zunisha is a fencing sword, not a bastard sword. The 35-kilometer Giga Chad Mewer was Guts' sword. Oh! But we can't have a fencing sword. No. We need our bastard sword. So, or a broadsword. Yeah. So, that is the update. I think it's for the better. And even though it may seem ridiculous, I think that if they have to make some more tweaks, they definitely should. They absolutely should. And it is also more Vivid Card conducive too, because in these Vivid Cards, they do state that Zunisha can eat Sky Island apples, but how could it when its full height was the same as one of those Drum Island peaks? So honestly, in reality, they should make Zunisha 15. They should make Zunisha 15 kilometers tall, so like 9 miles tall, and about like 7.5 or 8 kilometers wide, so around like almost like 5 miles long. That's what they really should do, because again, Zunisha can eat Sky Island food with its trunk, but how can it do that if its upper half is only 2 kilometers long? That makes no damn sense. No. It had to be upscaled to match even the Vivid Card data. So we'll see how things go. If they need a scaler, they can talk to me, bro. My DMs are open. If they need a scaler, I got it. And I will readjust everything the way it should be. So, on that note, I'm going to see you guys and gals on the flip side. If you enjoy your boys' video content, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click on that bell to join the notification squad. I'm going to catch you guys and gals on the flip side.
See you. Bye-bye.